Good afternoon, I'm Nadia Jani and you're watching A News. Let's see your headlines. Hamas officials say 73 people have died in Gaza near aid distribution sites, while the IDF says that figure is greatly exaggerated. Iran and Britain, France and Germany are set to resume nuclear talks this week. And Azerbaijan hosts the third edition of the Shusha Global Media Forum. At least 73 people were reportedly killed in Gaza on Sunday, according to the territory's Hamas-run health ministry. Officials say most of the deaths occurred near Gaza City, where large crowds had gathered to access humanitarian aid. The Israeli military confirmed it fired warning shots near the Zikum crossing, but denied responsibility for the fatalities. The United Nations World Food Programme said one of its 25 truck aid convoys came under gunfire after entering northern Gaza. Separately, health officials say 18 people had died from famine within 24 hours. The UN has repeated its call for urgent humanitarian access. The Syrian Ministry of Emergency and Disaster has announced that the government is providing aid to residents in the city of Sueda. Teams stationed at the humanitarian crossing point to help evacuate families. 2 families have since evacuated Sueda on foot to the crossing. Officials have emphasized that the need to repair infrastructure to improve the humanitarian situation, citing damage to the electricity network, a fuel shortage affecting communication towers, and a lack of fuel for water stations. Iran, Britain, France and Germany, the European three, will resume talks on Friday in Istanbul to address the nuclear program crises. The negotiations initiated by the European three will involve Deputy Foreign Ministers Majid Takht Ravanchi and Kazim Garibabadi, representing Iran. The meeting aims to revive the joint comprehensive plan of action and reduce tensions surrounding Tehran's nuclear activities. Iran will hold nuclear talks with Britain, France and Germany, the E3, on the 25th of July in Istanbul, the first since last month's attacks on its nuclear sites. The E3 are threatening the UN sanctions by late August. Iran warns of regional instability if they are pressured. Now, we're joined by Mr. Diogo Vlada, nuclear energy expert from Lisbon. Hello.
Hello.
Hi, so my first question to you, first of all, is what are the main goals of the upcoming nuclear talks between Iran and the E3?
Thank you for the invite. So this is an important set of negotiations because it marks the first direct diplomatic talks between the West and Iran since the strikes, high-level ones. And it is important because it's the first step to ensure that Iran grants the International Atomic Agency access again to the country in order to have some oversight on the activities, because that is really the only way to reduce worries that Iran might continue its nuclear program, because well, it's possible they can repair some of the facilities, and we also don't know how much uranium to which level. Well, we know they had enriched till 60%, but those are news with some age already, so we don't know what's the, let's say, the current status of the Iranian program. And for that, the oversight of the International Atomic Agency is crucial.
I see. And what do you think are the possible consequences if the E3 triggers the UN snapback mechanism, basically restoring previous sanctions?
Well, I would say that that would indeed difficultate this goal of allowing the International Atomic Agency back at the scene, because if the E3 triggers this snapback mechanism again, it will be very hard for it to be stopped, because a motion would have to be proposed, for example, by Russia in order to block it, but countries like the US have veto power, so they could easily keep the snapback mechanism going and the sanctions applied again. And of course, this is something that Iran does not want. So it will surely use the, let's say, the block of access to the International Atomic Agency as a leverage in order for this snapback mechanism to be triggered. However, the E3 countries already said that if no progress is obtained by the end of August, that they will activate this mechanism.
Thank you, Diogo, and thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Russia carried out a large-scale drone and missile attack on Ukraine overnight on Monday, killing at least one person and injuring six others in the Kyiv, local officials have said. Multiple explosions rocked the capital throughout the night, sparking fires and damaging infrastructure. A subway station in central Kyiv was also affected. In the eastern Ukraine, explosions were also reported in Kharkiv with no immediate damage details. The strikes come days after President of Ukraine Volodymyr Zelensky proposed a new round of peace talks to Moscow. The Kremlin said on Monday that Moscow was in favor of a new round of peace talks between Russia and Ukraine, but the two sides' positions were diametrically opposed, so there was a lot of diplomatic work to be done. Earlier, Kremlin spokesperson Dmitry Peskov said that Russia was ready to move swiftly toward a peace deal in Ukraine, but claimed the process can't succeed without cooperation from the West. In an interview with State TV, he said Putin's goals remain clear and unchanging, despite recent US threats of new sanctions and a 50-day ceasefire deadline.
Indeed, President Putin has repeatedly spoken of his desire to bring the Ukrainian settlement to a peaceful conclusion as soon as possible. This is a long process. It requires effort. It is not easy, and it seems Washington is increasingly coming to understand this. Russia is prepared to move swiftly. For us, the main thing is to achieve our objectives. They are clear, obvious, and unchanging. But the process doesn't depend solely on us.
US Senator Adam Schiff is once again in US President Donald Trump's firing line. He faces accusations related to property loans fraud. However, beyond the headlines, Schiff is grappling with serious allegations involving financial misconduct and ethical concerns.
California Senator Adam Schiff is facing renewed scrutiny after President Donald Trump accused him of mortgage fraud. Schiff declined to address these allegations directly. In a recent Truth Social post, President Trump called the senator a thief. US leader claimed that Schiff should be prosecuted, just like they tried to prosecute him. Previously speaking via Truth Social, Trump claimed that Schiff misled mortgage lenders by listing his Maryland home as his primary residence. Despite serving as a congressman from California, according to Trump, Schiff tried to secure better loan terms. The president called Schiff a crook and alleged a pattern of misrepresentation starting in 2009, continuing through 2020. According to a memo reviewed by the Los Angeles Times, a Fannie Mae investigation found that Schiff and his wife had, at various times, listed different properties. The memo concluded that the couple showed a sustained pattern of possible occupancy misrepresentation. When approached by Fox News Digital on Capitol Hill, Schiff declined to respond to the accusations and simply said, "Have a nice day."
Trump posted this on social media, accusing me of crimes and saying...
In a video statement posted to YouTube, Schiff dismissed the claims as politically motivated. Schiff called the accusations an act of political retaliation. The congressman, who led Trump's first impeachment, was elected to the US Senate in 2024 after serving 12 terms in the House.
Japan's Prime Minister Shigeru Ishiba is facing mounting pressure after his coalition lost its majority in the upper house after Sunday's election. Despite the setback, Ishiba says he has no plans to resign.
Japan's Prime Minister Shigeru Ishiba says he will remain in office after his ruling coalition suffered a heavy defeat in the upper house election on Saturday. The Liberal Democratic Party and its partner Komeito failed to secure the 50 seats needed to retain their majority. The loss deepens Ishiba's political troubles, coming less than a year after his coalition also lost control of the more powerful lower house. His government now becomes Japan's first minority administration in more than 3 decades. The result is widely seen as a rebuke from voters who are struggling with the rising cost of living, particularly with food prices such as rice. A string of political scandals has also weakened public trust in the Liberal Democratic Party.
I think the ruling party had great opportunities, such as Trump's outrage and the soaring rice prices. Had the ruling party resolved even one of these issues, their approval rate would have gone up, but we didn't feel anything, and it seems like the US would continue to push us around.
I think the government should tax people in a more effective way. It should tax the people who are earning a lot. People with lower incomes should not suffer.
Opposition parties, especially the Constitutional Democratic Party, led by the former Prime Minister Yoshihiko Noda, made gains. But it's the rise of smaller far-right parties, such as Sanseito, that's drawing attention. Their anti-immigration, ultra-nationalist messaging appears to have cut into the Liberal Party's more traditional base. Despite calls for his resignation, Ishiba says his priority is guiding Japan through critical trade talks with the United States, with a deadline looming next month. But with internal party rivals waiting in the wings and voter confidence shaken, questions remain over how long Ishiba can hold on.
South Korea says it's exploring ways to improve relations with the North, including the possibility of allowing individual tours. Tourism isn't banned under United Nations sanctions, but access remains limited. It comes as President Lee Jae-myung moves to ease tensions, though key hurdles remain, including halting loudspeaker broadcasts and leaflet campaigns along the border. The Shusha Global Media Forum taking place in Azerbaijan continues today. Our Orkhan Amashov is at the venue bringing us the latest updates. Hi Orkhan, how's it going? What can you tell us about today's highlights?
Hello Nadia, hello, a very good afternoon to you. Indeed, day 3 of the Shusha Global Media Forum is drawing to an end, and actually the entire forum is drawing to an end. Today's day 3, as you know, it's a 3-day event. And today the panel discussions were largely centered around the artificial intelligence as usual. That's an indispensable element of discussion for this forum. And a particular emphasis today has been on social media, its impact on public trust. And we heard from different social media executives. The representatives of TikTok and LinkedIn were present. They responded to questions of journalists. And one of the fundamental things was about the content creation today. And to what extent, actually, we could be dominated by technology. I think that the key dominant moment was that even that technology, which seems to be in the long run in a position of controlling us, could still be challenged by human intellect. And I think that that was point very clearly mentioned by one of the panelists during that one-on-one panel where Kate Wilson was present. And the fundamental argument there was that although when you make an inquiry and technology on the basis of what is there makes a response, and that response is not necessarily factual, and you understand it on the basis of your own human intelligence, further inquiries could actually make sure that you get most out of that information, that platform, which is also thinking platform, but not human intellect. I think that was one of the main points. Knee-jerk reaction, as has been the case over the past years, to anything innovative, if progress-oriented, has been to contain it, limit it, to worry about its implications for job market, for example. But the feeling here is that AI is something which is our invention. It should not be contained, but it should be properly regulated. And quite a lot of discussion there has been about the media ethics, the use of AI in such a way that the media ethics have been preserved and also advanced in the fullness of time going forward. And that was a really key sensibility of this day mainly. As I said earlier, Nadia, this is a 3-day event, has always been a 3-day event from the very beginning, from the year 2023. The first day was the opening, the welcoming day, where President Aliyev was present, responding to the questions of journalists. Day 2 did have only one panel, and actually day 3, despite the fact that most of the participants naturally, by virtue of being here a few days, have been kind of tired and exhausted and drained, but still they managed to focus on the panel discussion. We had 3 distinct panel discussions, with the last one being about social media, its influence on public trust, and its interaction with new technologies. And now the Media Forum is drawing to an end, and some conclusions are being already made.
That's great. Thank you so much for the update, Orhan. The third and final day of the third Shusha Global Media Forum is taking place, as Orhan just said, and following a powerful three-day event that began on the 19th of July. The theme was digital transitions, strengthening information and media resilience in the age of artificial intelligence. The forum has brought together around 140 international delegates from 52 countries.
Day two of the discussions at the third Shusha Global Media Forum began with an early morning session hosted by A News, setting the tone for another day of critical dialogue and bold ideas. Deputy Editor-in-Chief Orkan Amashov took the stage to introduce the newly launched opinion section of the A News website, a space dedicated to informed judgment. Alongside the launch, he presented the documentary Destination Shusha, a compelling piece produced and published by A News. This session drew a large audience of journalists, delegates and media executives, reflecting the growing influence of platforms like A News in shaping modern media narratives. Following this, the forum turned its focus to broader global issues at the core of today's agenda: media literacy, information security and the AI's growing grip on truth. Throughout the day's panel discussions on theme echoed clearly, media literacy is no longer optional. It's the foundational literacy of the 21st century. It should begin in classrooms and extend into newsrooms. Panelists drew compelling parallels between how we read the news and how we perceive the world. Becoming a media critic, they stressed, is serious work, and it is also the responsibility of the media itself to maintain the same critical lens on its own reporting. As voices from across the globe gathered in Shusha highlighted building resilient, truth-seeking societies start with teaching people not just where to find information, but how to interrogate it, question it, and grow from it. Later in the day, the spotlight shifted to thought-provoking one-on-one session, Journalism in the AI Era, Preserving Truth Amid Automation. The conversation focused on the ethical and editorial challenges posed by artificial intelligence in newsrooms and how the industry must adapt without surrendering the principles of truth verification and accountability. Immediately afterward, another panel convened under the theme how social media evolution affects nowadays. This not just another academic discussion, it was a wake-up call. And now we turn to the voices who are bold enough to question the system, determined enough to safeguard it.
As journalists, we must always move forward and not just drift, but progress thoughtfully. We need to seek common ground, even amid disagreements. We should help the state arrive at the right solutions and empower our audience to think in a broader, more holistic way, not just about today or tomorrow, but beyond. It's our duty to look out for future generations and to prioritize the interests of the state. We see that Azerbaijan is on the right path. Going forward, many issues will become easier to resolve. As journalists, we must consider every matter, understand the essence of our work. We serve the people and uphold the interests of the state.
Following the discussion, I want to thank all the panelists. They were brilliant, and they were all very open, very truthful, very honest. I think that's so important when we have the privilege and a stage to have these discussions. In terms of what they all thought about media literacy, it was all actually quite different, but the key for this discussion was about how to combat misinformation, disinformation, security within that context. And everyone had different thoughts, actually. And one thing I feel that was a thread is that we all realize that there are some serious challenges out there. Technology is moving so fast that no human can keep up with it. And that includes AI. So what do? Well, we need to learn how to use it, how to work with it, how to recognize the challenges, how to recognize disinformation, and we all need to be educated. I think that was a great theme that came out, and I agree with that. All of us are now undereducated because technology has moved faster than anyone could have imagined.
Artificial intelligence has been out there for over 3 years now, but I think it's fair to say that right now in 2025 it has become more integrated into the media ecosystem, and this is primarily why this forum, the third Global Shusha Media Forum, has been designated to AI and media literacy, because I believe that it's of paramount importance for us journalists, for media professionals to discuss this, because while there are many opportunities within AI, I think it also poses a lot of threats. So I think this platform serves as an opportunity for journalists, for media professionals, for policymakers to come together and to discuss all of these issues. And it's quite fascinating to be here, to be honest. Like you rightly said, it's my third time attending the media forum here in Shusha, and every year, I have to say, it's getting better. For example, this year, more countries are being represented in comparison to last year, so I'm really grateful for the opportunity, and it's always fascinating to visit this beautiful city of Shusha.
Now, the Global Media Forum has brought together media leaders, experts and policymakers from around the world to discuss digital resilience, disinformation and strategic regional developments. To discuss all of this, we are joined by Murad Maradov, the Deputy Director at Topçu Bashov Center. Hello, Murad. First, I want to ask, what is the vision that President Aliyev shared on climate, energy and regional plans? I think there is a delay. I'm not sure whether or not Murad can hear us, so we'll have to go to our next story. Okay, well, the president of Turkey, Recep Tayyip Erdogan, calls for international recognition for the Turkish Republic of Northern Cyprus. Speaking at a ceremony in Nicosia, marking the 51st anniversary of the Cyprus peace operation, Erdogan said that decades-long injustice against Turkish Cypriots must come to an end. He voiced full support for the Republic's President Ersen Tatar's two-state vision. Erdogan also urged the international community to accept what he called realities on the ground. In the meantime, the Turkish leader announced new infrastructure projects, including a state hospital in Nicosia and major road upgrades. Archaeological work continues in Turkey's Kahramanmaraş, where new discoveries from the Late Bronze Age have been made. At Yashi Mound, a team has unearthed structures and silos believed to be used for storage, sparking hopes of finding written sources.
In the Afshin district of Kahramanmaraş, excavations at Yashi Mound are revealing important clues from ancient times. Teams have uncovered parts of a large structure and storage silos thought to date back to the Late Bronze Age or Hittite period. Excavation director says this season brought new excitement as a two-phase building process was identified, including signs of renovation. A number tablet was previously found at the site, possibly a form of receipt. This has fueled hopes of discovering more written records, especially from the Assyrian trade colonies period.
We're also experiencing the excitement of wondering, are we getting closer to written sources? Will we uncover any tablets or other findings?
Over the years, findings from multiple periods have emerged at the mound, from a Roman basilica to a Persian-era administrative complex. Experts believe the site may reveal even earlier history as they carefully sift through layers dating back to 6000 BC.
That's all we have time for today. Thank you for watching and stay tuned to A News.